Hey, it's Tothy and Rich here from the Airstream Life Store. We are in Douglas, Michigan. It's mid-September, and we are courtesy parking with some friends. We've been here, this is our 6th night it's going to be. And we thought we would go through some of the more successful things that we've done to prepare for courtesy parking. This is the second time we've done it this summer on our trip. And walk you through some of the tips in case you're thinking of crashing with friends with your Airstream alongside their house. So what was the first thing when we heard Mark and Patrick invited us last spring? You went to Google Maps first, didn't you? Tell them what you started
my first
doing.
thought is can we get in and can we get out? This is an older neighborhood.
Yep, in a small town.
And there's lots of, big trees and narrow streets and things like that. So I look at the satellite view, try to get an idea, can we get in? Can we get out? That's the first step right there.
Yeah. And then we thought about, is there an HOA? In our case, there wasn't because it's an older neighborhood, as you said. But are there any neighbors that don't mind having an Airstream next to the house for a week?
Right, and that brings you to the conversation with the homeowner. I had to talk to Mark, or you did, I can't remember which, and ask some specific questions about, okay, where are you going to park us? Do the neighbors have a problem? Is there an HOA? Is there, are we going to get a parking ticket? Are we going to be in your driveway? Are we going to be next to the house?
Or were there any city ordinances? Would there ever be something like that?
Same kind of thing. Or, are we going to be, because some people think they can put you anywhere. And then, and then you find out you're in a swamp or something.
Right, or the low-hanging branches or
low-hanging
something
tree
like
branches,
that.
that kind of thing. So talking to the homeowner.
So we did that. And then what was next? We
preparation.
Right, we prepped. So
you got to come loaded for bear.
Yes, and first of all, it was utilities. We wanted to figure out, are we going to have power? Are we going to have water? What was the situation? So we do have power in this case, right? And so what did you bring to make sure we had the right kind of power?
Well, you just want to make sure, of course, you've got the extension, the cable that came with your Airstream. Ours is 30 amp, and at least an adapter to plug it into a 15 amp household plug. That's the bare minimum.
Because here we have access to only the household plug at the garage.
Right.
Now, a previous courtesy parking, we had a 50 amp. That was
unusual,
though,
That's
right?
very unusual.
So most of your friends are going to, unless they're Airstreamers, which these guys were.
Usually you're running an extension cord into the garage or something like that, and you're plugging into the first thing that's available, which means you also need a lot of extension cord.
Yeah.
And because you're running a lot of extension cord, you got to be careful about what you run. So even if you have a plug, doesn't mean you're going to be running your air conditioner. You're probably not.
And that's why we timed this so that it's mid-September in Michigan.
Yes.
And we only run the fantastic fans. We haven't needed the air conditioner at all. We haven't really needed the microwave. I mean, well, we can go. We have full house privileges. We're using it for showers though, because although we have power, that's all we have.
We're not getting anything else. There's no water hook available to us here. So even though I have a lot of water hose, there's nowhere to connect it. So we're using our inside water for very limited purposes, like brushing teeth and washing dishes a little bit. But we're using the shower in the house, and that's why we're able to stay for 6 nights, because we wouldn't go.
And there's a tip here in that we arrived with empty gray, empty black, and full fresh water. So we've been working. As you told me, you're going to have to fine-tune your boondocking skills on this one. And this is me, washing dishes with like teensy trickles of water.
It's amazing. I've seen you do a plate with like 5 drops of water. It's amazing how it works.
But it's working out. And we haven't had to refill anything.
No,
we haven't had to find a dump station.
I checked this morning. We've still got almost half of our fresh water left. So we've been really frugal on fresh water.
That's good.
But
the shower, having the shower in the house has really helped
that's
that,
the key. Yeah, we've been frugal. But the point is, you can't expect water. You can't expect electricity. Even if your host says you're going to have access to those things, take it with a grain of salt, because sometimes they don't realize that the only outlet to the water is 300 feet away from you, and you're just never ever going to get there. So you got to be ready for anything.
Yeah. So we talked about utilities. We know the electric adapters to have. Rifle. Oh, one more thing on the fresh water, because I didn't do this, and that would be to bring your own drinking water, because you really don't want to drink the water from the tanks. And we're big on water and coffee in the morning and having fresh water all day. So I would have brought reusable jugs or gallon jugs, but luckily our friends have a big gallon jug that we keep. It's a reusable kind, and we keep bringing that back and forth, filling that up.
Drinking water is usually not a big deal. I mean, any host is going to let you get some water if the house is open.
But I mean, it's nice to have the jug.
Yeah, the jug.
Because for Mickey
Yeah.
For cooking, for
Right.
coffee, for tea, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
anything we're ingesting.
The other thing about the site we skipped over was you've got to be ready for an unlevel parking spot.
Oh, that's right.
You know, we got here and they didn't park us where we expected to be parked. We thought we were going to be in the front of the house on gravel. Turns out they needed that for their car. They directed us to a spot by the side, which is lovely.
We are under these amazing pine trees. It's
Oh,
beautiful. We've
We're
had
in
shade.
It's just really nice here. The downside of it is it's a bit of a swale. So the right side of the Airstream is about 4 inches lower than the left, or it would be if we didn't have a lot of leveling blocks.
Right, so there's a tip. Make sure you have plenty of leveling blocks.
Yeah.
We have, what, the set of 12 or 16 or whatever we have.
Yeah, I don't know how many we have. We got a bunch.
But we used all of them.
We used every single one we had
Yeah, we did.
to level it up.
And the
the stabilizer jacks.
stabilizers, you had to put something underneath because
We didn't have enough
reach.
leveling blocks for the stabilizers to reach on one side, so I borrowed some pieces of scrap masonry that were lying around the house and a couple of rocks, put those underneath the stabilizers instead, so we were able to put all 4 of them down.
Yeah, so it ended up being better than we thought.
Yeah.
Our spot is better than we thought.
That's
we just
beautiful.
needed to level it.
Yeah.
So we've had a fantastic week, and I would say I'd kind of close it out with a tip of making sure you're a good house guest when
Right.
you're with people. We've been trying our best to, stay out of their way. I mean, they're working, and we're touring. But things like we went apple picking. You can see some of our bounty here. When we went apple picking, we brought a bunch of extra for them. We went to the farmer's market in Holland this morning. We brought a bunch of little cherry tomatoes and greens and things like that. And of course, we'll send a nice thank you note.
Yeah.
And
That's the thing about courtesy parking. I mean, people are saving you, anywhere
hundreds
from,
of dollars.
Yeah, $25 to maybe $60 a night, giving you a place to stay. The least you can do is show some appreciation. So,
Yeah.
number one, don't expect anything. They don't owe you anything. Number two, stay out of the guest's way.
Yeah.
Number three, show your appreciation. So we've tried to do all those things, and as a result, after 6 days, they haven't thrown us out.
That's right. In fact,
So
they even invited us to go on their friend's boat today.
Yeah,
So
so
that
was a
was
bonus
really
too.
good. There was a bonus, yes. So I hope that these tips are helpful to you. Make sure you're prepared. Like, be a Boy Scout. Be prepared with doing a little advanced research. Be thoughtful and nice, and you will have a great time.
Absolutely.
And if you've liked these videos, we hope that you'll
yes.
like us on YouTube as well as subscribe to our channel so that you see the next one. That
Everybody says like and subscribe, but it sounds trite, but it really does help, and we'll make sure you don't miss one of our next videos. So,
Yeah.
thanks for watching.